if you are a person who is dealing or has dealt with a narcissist somewhere in your life, you might come to a point where you feel like the narcissist is suffocating you. You know, this thing is like very toxic, and you are figuring out how can you protect yourself. You know, you are dealing with this individual who is really sucking the soul out of you. You just feel like you're burning out in every way. Things you try don't work. All your attempts to achieve something don't work. Your health fails. It is too toxic, and it may also be that point where you're not ready to live. Okay, you may sometimes have children, or you may have a pregnant woman, or you may have a lot of bills to take care of as an individual, maybe as a man, and you feel like it is not yet time for you to live. Yes, you have that feeling of walking away from this, but you don't know how to do it. You can't do it. There is responsibilities going on that you have to fulfill as a person. But the narcissist is suffocating you. Now, a lot of empaths, they develop this mechanism where they may actually start to starve the narcissist. And this is something I did way back in time. I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, but I could feel like there is no more things we could do together. You know, in the beginning, when you're with a narcissist, you have this feeling of let's go shopping together. You know, let's go to the shops, let's go to the malls, let's go take the kids to school, or let's cook together, or, you know, intimacy, having sex and everything. You want to do everything with them, you know, at the beginning of those relationships. But you see, when you're dealing with a toxic individual, this is an individual who is interested in the only thing they know, they've ever learned over time, is abusing and manipulating and taking from you and doing everything that is horrible you can think about in those relationships. And you know, as an empath, you're not used to this. It is something new. You know, you've always been used to give and take relationships. You've been used to loving people genuinely, but you feel like there is nothing you can do is enough for this person. And you feel like, is it your problem? Are you the problem? Or is there something you're doing wrong? What can you fix? Or how can you do things right? And nothing works. This thing has happened when I was dealing with the toxic family system. It has also happened so many times when I was dealing with narcissists. Okay, when it came to intimate, usually relationships, and I could subconsciously start distracting myself. So let's say, for example, if you're an empath who is with this woman or man you married or whatever relationship, and you find yourself like always wanting to get away. Let's say, for example, you know, it's a weekend and maybe you guys have to be together on the weekend, but you feel like you cannot be around this person. It is too toxic. You're very irritated by their energy. You always find an excuse to walk away from home. Or let's say you go to work somewhere and you're hoping that the work can even take longer. You know, you can even work more hours. Maybe you put in even more hours at work because you just don't want to be around this person. You're just thinking that when I probably return home or go back to the house, there's going to be chaos that is just going to be keep on going on, and you just simply cannot stand this. So those things empaths do it's like a survival mechanism. Okay, like I've said, you're not ready to leave the relationship, but at the same time, it is very toxic to be around this person. The energy is too dark, is too intense, and you don't know what you can do with yourself, you know. So in usually most of the cases, empaths, what they do, they are going to start putting these mechanisms in place. And most of those things you are doing to distract yourself, or let's say to stop engaging a little bit more with this person, it is one of the signs that you're dealing with a narcissist. So what is actually happening subconsciously is you are withdrawing your energy from this person. Or I could even give you another example. When you're with this person and let's say you no longer want to go to the shops. Okay, you're like, okay, we're not going to be shopping together today. You can go ahead and shop, I will stay home. Or you can go ahead and drop the kids, or you can go ahead and do that, I want to stay home. And you know that These are the things that you used to do. So that is actually what you're doing really is you're starving the narcissist, okay? It may also include intimacy, where, for example, you might have been like every now and then, of course, you're intimate with each other, like in a week, a couple of times or whatever. But as the time progresses, it's like you feel you no longer want to sleep with them, okay? You are withdrawing the sex because it's like whenever you have this sex with these individuals, you feel like they're draining your energy. You feel like you have maybe slept with, because I've told you guys, even intimacy with these kind of individuals, it is not real intimacy. You know, it's just like they're just doing it for themselves. They're not doing it for you, okay? They're in there just to satisfy themselves. So you feel like you've slept with a robot. You feel like you're sleeping with a rock. You know, there's no feelings, there's no emotions. It's like you're just sleeping with somebody because you don't even know why you're sleeping with this person. You have lost all the feelings of intimacy with those people. When you're dealing with the narcissist, these are going to be common scenarios, and these are things you have got to do. You know, some of the times, there are times where you have to learn how to protect your own energy because you are with a very toxic person, very unbearable person, very horrible person to be around with, and you don't even know what else can you do to make you feel better in those relationships. And the only option left for you is to start starving this individual, okay? So when I talk about starving the narcissist, I simply talk about withdrawing your energy, okay? So most of the things you have been used to do over the years, maybe over the months, you start to withdraw the attention and validation, and you start to engage less, okay? So you no longer do things together. When it's cooking, you're like, you don't want to cook with them anymore because whenever you're cooking together, they're going to be shouting, they're going to be screaming around, they're going to be doing things the other way, and sometimes they're disorganizing everything. Shopping is the same thing. You go to the shops, and all of a sudden you're seeing them shouting and screaming in the shops. They always have something to complain about. They always have this negative energy around them. Everything is wrong. There's nothing you're doing is okay. There's nothing you're doing is right. So if you're the empath, like for the most of us who have left, we know the scenario very well. But for the most of you guys who are still dealing with these narcissists, one of the things you can do temporarily, because this is just a temporary situation, it is not a long-term thing, you know, you just do it temporarily to protect yourself, okay, so that you can protect your energy. Because the more you engage is the more you give them your energy, okay? The less you engage is the less you give them your energy. But again, like I've said, it is not a long-term thing you can do. It is something you can do in that temporary moment, just a short period of time, to protect yourself for a certain period until you have finally figured out the final solution or the final moves you need to take. And we all know that definitely at the end of the day, the only thing you have got to do at the end of the day is to walk out of those relationships. But for you to be able to maintain your energy, you have to initiate that process where you have to starve that narcissist, okay? Now, there's also consequences when you start starving the narcissist, because sometimes when you start to starve the narcissist, yes, they are not ready to leave you or to discard you. They're not prepared for that moment. But they may actually be pushed out, to be pushed to go out there and start cheating. So, for example, you might have withdrawn your sexual energy and you're no longer sleeping with them the same way you used to because you feel it's too toxic. They may sometimes go out there and fish for different supplies. So that's why you hear a lot of times narcissists are going to start cheating, because they're feeling like you cannot give them the sex they want because they want a lot of it. And sometimes you want less of it because it's not even making any sense to sleep with them. So they may sometimes go out there and cheat. So like I'm saying, you also need to be prepared for the consequences, because they will also take action on the other side. It may be sometimes cheating. It may be sometimes going out and looking for different alternatives, sources of supply. So if it comes to that, just be prepared and know that this is how they operate. So that's how the whole thing goes. It's a cycle, okay? It is one of the things you will do as an empath to protect your energy. If you have done that, let us know in the comment section below. You guys do know that I do love and appreciate your support. You can book a session with me if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. Denzoma signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.